And good evening, everyone. Today marks the beginning of what the Judeo-Gregorian calendar states as a new year. However, we know that the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, his appointed new year would not begin until March. However, since our work schedules evolve around the Gregorian calendar, we're going to recognize this as not a new year, but a change of numbers of 2014 into the calendar year of 2015. The New Year's will be celebrated and acknowledged in March coming up. However, as I stated before, we're going from calendar year 2014 to calendar year 2015. I'm going to give you some updates as well as some reviews of 2014 and what's coming up to expect in 2015 with our organization. As you know, we have been rather silent on the internet and pretty much for all cyber media for that matter. We've been quite silent because we've run into quite a few snags or problems over the past 2 years actually. So I'm going to announce a complete change for the year of 2015, the latter part of 2014 as well. As some of you have already know, that our previous organization known as Christ and Country, we were known on the internet as ChristandCountryUSA.org. That has been inactive for some time now, probably about 15 months. We had some problems with the first webmaster on Christ and Country USA. Our content was quite politically incorrect in that we reached the height of friction within a matter of months, and she resigned from webmaster, and we were able to shortly but yet briefly have someone else handle that work, and again had a problem. They were dismissed. The third came up and was dismissed by us because we did not meet them in person. It was all done over email, and they turned out to be not one of us. Their mindset was not of us, and we found out later racially they were not of us. So they were dismissed. The content, we were at one time in 2013, we ranked in the top 10 of Christian National's websites. Apparently that gave notice to the servers and the host of our domain, and it was pulled from the media, pulled from the cyber media, and was not even able to be found on Google search. In fact, now if you put in our old website address into Google, it will not even appear as any of our content because the whole thing has been pulled. And we've kind of redirected our thoughts, redirected our mission, and we've now taken on a new name. We will now be known as the Little White Church, also known as the Little White Church Movement. I will give an introduction to the Little White Church Movement and the Little White Church organization on a separate broadcast. That would be too much to try and cover here. This is just basically an update for the coming new year and a little bit of a review of this past year. Again, I said the changes were no longer identified on any social media, cyber media, as Christ and Country USA. We're now the only name pertaining to us is the Little White Church or Little White Church Movement. 2014, as we know, has come and gone and brought with it some good and bad things for our people, our race. Just in the recent months, we do know of the incident in Ferguson, Missouri, which has started off quite a strike of racial tension, racial harassment of basically black on white crimes, and it is brought to the attention of the much to the design of the Jewish population, who designed this entire ordeal to use for their advantage. However, it can be used in our advantage if we take advantage. Because I've talked to several people and I've received several emails, and many people who are not racial nationalists, are not Christian nationalists, are not racially minded whatsoever, are now coming to the realization that there is a difference between the black population and the white population. There is a difference between the conduct of these people. They are not for law and order. They cannot have law and order because they cannot handle situations in the same way the whites do. Now, they right away will tell you, oh, I'm not racist or anything, but we're gaining an advantage. We're beginning to make a clear point. But I believe that this is also the Jewish intention with the Jewish-controlled media, is to create racial tensions. And I believe that I'm getting off point. I'm not going in the direction I intended to. But I just want to make this point. If you'll notice, all of these attacks are basically on black people against white police. Because the domestic, you might say, or the civilian crimes, black teens beating up, attacking, and murdering white teens, white elderly, that doesn't really get media attention. What gets media attention is the black population rioting and protesting against white police force. I believe, I don't have any references to this, but just my own belief, the idea is the problem, reaction, solution. They create the problem with the blacks against the white police force, and the reaction, rioting in the streets and murdering of white police officers. I believe the solution, and there's already been some suggestion of this in subtle ways in the mainstream media, that the solution is going to be black police officers or a multicultural police force, and whites will be dismissed from the police force. That way there will be no racial tension between the black civilians and the black police force. And if the riots get severe enough and enough disorder is obtained from these protests, then the white people will gladly step down and allow blacks to become the police force. And if you look in the history of what is known as Haiti, Dominican Republic, the Santo Domingo, that is the whole battle down there with the French and the black population. That's exactly what happened. And it eventually led to the gruesome annihilation of the white race in Haiti. It was once the most popular, the most prosperous, I should say, not popular, the most prosperous nation or holding of the French in the entire world. And now, when the whites had control of it, and now you can see how it is today. They can't even feed themselves. We have to bring them in here. We have to go down there and get them, bring them here to feed them. For some reason, we can't bring food down there. They have to be brought into our cities and all their diseases and everything else, so they can mix with the white population.